Hello there, everyone. Welcome. I hope you're all doing well. I've decided to stick with this stream layout for a bit. Maybe we'll add a palette somewhere. Not sure. Yes, today I'm trying something new, which is always a fun experience. I'm learning how to solder and wire LEDs. It's a learning curve. I've never done it, but I need to learn how to do it for my next few projects. So it should be fun. I'm doing well. Thank you, Diddy. And no problems, Mr. Mosbka. Yeah, so let's learn to solder, eh? Hopefully everyone knows a little bit more about this than I do. Let's hope there's no fireworks. Alright. I need to make some notes. I'm just going to open up a document to make notes. Oh, it's Lizzie's funeral today, mate. Queen Elizabeth, the monarch, is it's her funeral actually pretty soon. When's it start, Rocket?
The actual procession starts at a 7:45.
In about 45 minutes it starts. So, yeah. Look, I'm a member of the Commonwealth, which means I am obligated to feel a little bit sad, which then makes me feel a little bit more justified about the public holiday we get on Thursday. Smaller gauge wire. So this is my first attempt. I bought a bag of LEDs. These are all 5-volt LEDs. So this is soldering wire. So these 5-volt LEDs. Yes, I do enjoy a day off on Thursday. Let me show you a little bit about these. I feel like I have a little bit of knowledge in this space. Not a lot, but a little bit. Have a bit brighter. So this is an LED. It has 2 bits of wire coming out of it. One of them, this longer one, is the positive terminal. The shorter one is the negative. So what I need to do is connect the wire from this to the positive one and this to the negative one. However, I also then need to connect it to a battery of some description. However, the battery that I've selected for these LEDs, this little jobbo, is only 1.5 volts. And 1.5 volts is actually not enough to kick this little LED into action. We need slightly more than that. I also am going to need some resistors, I think, because I feel like I need several LEDs for this project, not just one. So what I'm going to try practicing for a little bit is just learning the mechanical process. Yeah, I need a 9-volt. You're absolutely correct. That is my plan, is to get a 9-volt tomorrow. But I also need to figure out the LEDs that I'm actually going to get. So, yeah. This is heat shrink tubing. So what I need to do with the heat shrink tubing, hello there Brush Warrior, is attach this heat shrink tubing to this bit first, so that I can slide it down over. We're all learning, it's a wonderful time. Am I going to get micro what? I'm very new to this. Come here, little thing. But I bought all this cool stuff so I could be a pro at it. Alright, which one's the long one? You. Alright, so I feel like this little claw is gonna, yeah, that's a very apt way to describe my current situation. Am I going to get... no, so I've got some stuff for the project already. I've got LED strips, and I've got a whole pile of other things. But at this stage, I just need to figure out how the fuck all this works. It kind of is a science stream, yes. I need some professor glasses. Actually, I might put on my safety glasses. I've got some, just in case, so we don't know what's happening. Professor Trent. These need a clean. So this thing over here is extremely hot. So I'm gonna be careful. I hate these doors. Not to burn myself, but I also make no promises, because yesterday I drilled a hole into my hand, an actual literal hole. I was using a Dremel, and I added a drill bit that was a very powerful drill bit, like very good at cutting, and it cut through and created a lovely circular hole in my hand. So that was fun. So this is always good to learn how to do things. Alright, here we go. So this is called solder, or solder, depending on what TVs you videos you watch. And what we're trying to do is fuse these two little bits together so that they are one element and that it conducts electricity, I think. So the way that I'm going to do that, so this little thing, Rocket, get the fire extinguisher ready. This little thing is really hot. Really hot. So I'm just gonna, so I think you touch this thing to this and then you feed the solder onto it, and then it, yep, you're going well, Dano. Oh, we got something happening here. This is the first time I've done it. Like today. Why are you not? Oh, there we go. Wow, that just sprayed stuff everywhere. Oh no, I've done a mischief. Alright, great start. What, hang on, what's the copper? Which one's the copper? Oh, this thing. Is that what I do? I don't understand, mate. This is literally the first time we've played around with these little things. Why do I need to let it heat the copper? Is the copper the part that I'm heating up so that the solder connects to it, is it? I have not got a good connection here. Is it? Ah, okay. So if I go like here, what temperature should I have this thing at? I've got it at. Oh, there's something. I've got my temperature at 300. Is that enough? Well, that didn't go well. I reiterate here, friends, literal first time, no idea what I'm doing. But I'm trying to learn. Yep, feedback today, and I've got a couple of other feedbacks to catch up from yesterday's stream. Yeah, tell Kenny that that I don't like doing feedback for people. And Mohawk as well. Well, that was good. Do I need to? Yeah, I'm confused. What part am I heating? Am I heating the wire or am I heating the thing? That's the part that I'm. And what part of this thing is hot? Is it just the tip? Am I supposed to wipe it off on the sponge every time as well? Ah, okay. I heat up the wire. Interesting. I might just crank up the crankage up to 350, whatever that means. Bloop. Bloop. Hello there, Jared. It's Professor Deno today. It's Professor. Hotter is better. Well, I'm not sure that I trust myself with hotter stuff. Come on, Deno. Hang on, I think I understand what's happening there. So, all of the solder that I'm putting on... Okay. All the solder that I'm putting on just then was melting, wasn't it? So I actually need to hold it both times, both sides, don't I? Alright, that's good. I'm gonna grab a new little jobbo. Just in case. Yeah, good, this is fun. Alright, turned it back down to 300. I'll leave it at 300. It's so cool to watch it though. Look at it. So cool. Okay. Alright. It's going well so far. Undo this, and now I'll reclamp this, and then I'll reclamp this. Yes. You know it's too hot if it's not shiny. Ah, cool. Okay, well that was pretty shiny. Ooh, cool. Well, that's my best one so far. Cool. Oh, the finish is, if the finish is not shiny. That looks pretty shiny. Alright, So then I slide this bad boy up like this. Okay. And then I use my heat shrink tubing. Yes. So I'm gonna try. This is all learning experience, right? So all of these things. This thing was like 12 cents or whatever it was, and this cable cost me fuck all. But this is obviously the wrong cable anyway. So I'm just sort of learning tonight. We can make as many mistakes as we want, and all will be well. We won't use this in the final project. So should you wipe onto this sponge before you go on, clean that stuff off, or is the sponge not then time? Oh, that was good. Look at that. That's good skills. Okay. So is it a good habit to be in to wipe off and then wipe off again before you go onto the model or the fucking thing? So the part I'm struggling with at the moment, I guess. Hugo's not real happy about there being horses on the television. Okay. What actually is the solder doing? Is it just fusing them together and then also creating a conduction between the two? Is that what it's doing? Yeah. Cool. Well, that's my best one yet. Okay. So in a perfect world, now, if I connect this to this battery one, this battery one, here, hello Robbie's Hobbies, these two connect up, theoretically, I should be able to put batteries in and this should light up. Now, I don't have a resistor, so it might actually just short out straight away, but I'm going to try it anyway. Good, mate. I still haven't quite figured out how this thing works yet. Alright, this is so cool. What brand of stripper is it? Good question. The stripper brand is generic stripper brand. There's no words on it. Are these claws going to damage the wire in any way? If they bend into the things, like if they eat into the plastic. Yeah, Chinesian brand, perfect. No, I think this one was from my. It's a electronics company. Add some solder. Ah, cool. Oh, hang on. I need my little tube. Tubey tube. How often do you reckon people forget that tube, eh? Feels like it would be a lot when you're first starting out. Okay, cool. I need some more of this bad boy. Wipe this off. Heat this up. Add this. Tell me about the connection. Like, how many wires do you need to connect? Do all of them need to be touching the solder for it to work? Because I feel like I got most of them there. Heat shrink. This is for both my Cyberpunk Neon City diorama from Nico Galaxy, and also my vampire diorama that I'm currently working on, where I want to have a moon element shining through some stained glass. So it's for both of those things. At the same time. Surely there's got to be like a better way to do the wire. Definitely not the way that I've just done it there. How hot does the wire get? Do I have to be careful to not touch the wire? The wire probably gets pretty hot, doesn't it? Oh, Dano, you're such a fucking idiot sometimes, mate. You do all this great work and then you fuck it. Gotcha. Good, thank you for the good advice here, Azathoth. So this little bit's here, I feel like I want to clip that off. I wonder if that'll do something wrong. I don't know. Well, all of my connections are joined. Heat shrink. Alright, so this is in the off switch. Let's put some batteries in it and see if this works. Okay. This is great feedback. Thank you, Don Giovanni. This is a wonderful, wonderful experience for my first time working with LEDs. Alright. Moment of truth. Moment of truth. So, when I flick this to on, the LED should come on. It did! Off, on, yeah! Alright, but that's actually shithouse. Why does it look so bad? Oh, it's okay. Why is it so bad though? Why is it so shitty light? Is that because the LED, or is it because it's not getting enough juice? Is it not enough juice, is it? Okay. Professor Deno. Alright, so these LEDs are 5mm. Now, I did find this great website, so I'm going to bring... Yeah, no, there's got to be a way for me to do AC power, or DC power, whatever it is. Alright, let me have a look. I'm going to turn this off so I don't burn myself. Let me have a look here. Yeah, so I found this cool website. Yeah. It's Professor Deno. So this lets me go, okay, cool, I need to have... These LEDs are, it tells me on the website where I bought them, 20 current. The voltage drop for a red one is 2. And then if I wanted to have 2 LEDs, here's a resistor that I need to buy. And then here is the precision. I don't know what that precision thing means. What does that change? And then how much voltage. So if I've only got 3 voltage for one LED, yeah. So that's, this information tells me what I need to put into the actual circuit. The resist, okay, cool. So this here tells me that this is my battery, right? So I need to have a positive going to here, connecting to the resistor on the positive side, and then on the negative side connecting to the actual positive side of the LED, and then this is the negative side of the LED, and then I think these two things connect up. They certainly do on this attempt. So this LED is either not getting enough juice, or could it be shit? Oh, those are grounds. Could it be that my soldering was shit? As in, would a really bad soldering cause this LED to be shithouse? Yeah, because I feel like this this is 3 volts. This should be enough current to absolutely belt this, shouldn't it? This LED to go ballistic. But that's not the case. Yeah, check this out, Bucks. I turn this, mate. Are the soldered joints warm when you power it on? Good question. Let's find out. Ah, okay, cool. Well, let's try again. Have they even fully cooled after the heat gun? I think so. Yeah, they're not... We've got a fucking weak as piss light, but at least it's turning on. Actually, it doesn't look too bad from the front on, does it? Alright, let me just feel these joins. No, there's no heat here. Or on this one. Okay. Well, let's try and do it again. Anyway. So, I'm going to take the batteries out so that I don't have any current at all, even though it shouldn't be enough current to do anything to me, I would not think. Coming out battery. Yeah, okay. And then I am just going to snip this bad boy here, snip this bad boy here, and we'll get some more cable and we'll try again. Nice. So I have a question, since we have some people who have obviously more knowledge than I do in the chat. My knowledge of LEDs is actually very, very limited. But let's say I had this bad boy. So this bad boy is an LED strip that I can power with an Arduino or a little thing that allows me to write some code. My first question, can I just cut a couple of these off and use a couple of these? Or is the actual connection fixed? AWG. And what is this jobbo for? Is this jobbo to connect the two ends together? Why would you do that? Maybe it's to connect more than one strip together. So yeah, could I cut 3 of these off and then just use 3 of them? Well, this has little scissor symbols on it. Has a little scissor line here. That's getting easier to use.
Oh, there's Anthony on.
Elbow!
Sergeant was just there too.
Jacinda. Yep. But then how do I connect that to a wire? How do I connect that little section, that little strip, to a wire? There's one that says GND, and then there's one that says DIN, and there's one that says 5 volt. Fucking hell, how do you solder onto that? So which one's the positive? Is it 5 volts? Or is it DIN? Yep. So 5 volts would get the red. Okay. Well, fuck it, I really want to try doing something with this too. But I don't think I have. Maybe we can try that. Is that 5 volts how much power it needs per LED? If that's the case, I'm in big trouble. Why do LEDs need so much power? What a stupid fucking thing. Voltage. Alright, let's try a new LED. This little thing's handy, isn't it? Should I try and cram this thing in the middle of it? Like inside the wires or something? Like to try and shove it in here? I'm gonna guess no. Huh. Yeah. So that wouldn't be enough voltage to power one of those little LEDs, let alone 4 of them. And if I was doing 4, I would need several. Oh, is this? Oh, this is solder. Cool.
Good evening, my friend.
Oh, hello there, Andrew. Are you in the chat with your video? Match Fixer, I'm trying to solder some stuff here, mate. Can you just stop being ridiculous and let me solder? What an absolute ridiculous guy. I got your camera.
What a guy. What an expectation.
Yeah, what an absolute...
Give me 1 sec. I'm just shutting my door.
Alright.
Otherwise, the lovable Jub will be in the background for the rest of the stream.
Job, do-do-do-do-do-do. I'm going to put this away so that I'm not holding onto this filthy hot stick.
Maybe it wasn't the most appropriate times to announce my arrival.
Yeah, we're deep in the tank, mate.
So it looks.
Welcome to Andy.
I'm deep into an Anzac Bicky right now. Right, bro.
That feels like an inefficient way of holding that thing. I much prefer holding it with my hand. What would you like me to sing, Match Fixer?
Thunderstruck because you're about to get electrocuted. No. He literally said Thunderstruck AC/DC.
You've been thunderstruck. Now I don't know the words of that song, mate. Now the reason that one uses the heat shrink tubing is not because of any functional reason. It's purely for cosmetics and to prevent the solder or the joint from falling apart. Is that right? Am I right about that?
I certainly hope you weren't asking me anything then, because my levels of peanut when it comes to this are at an all-time high.
Ah, good one. Okay, you do that so you don't. Ah, okay, sweet, cool. All right, good. No, I'm learning a lot tonight, mate. I've somehow I'm lucked into having some people who actually know what they're talking about in the chat, so that's helpful because I don't actually know too much about this. I've just done some limited internet research, and yeah, it's going beautifully.
Isn't it a wonderful thing about this hobby that we share is that it links people from all different walks together. And there's usually always someone not too far away with the answer you need, I've found in my journey so far.
Interesting. All right, this is good. No, so the thing about any skill, friends, and I've talked about this a little bit on stream before, is you will never get good at something unless you practice. And so I thought to myself, you know what? This is coming up very soon, this project and this requirement. So I need to do some shit here, or I am not going to have any idea what I'm doing. No, I don't do formal teaching, do I? Have I taken formal teaching?
I guess like you've done formal teaching.
Well,
you've taught in classes.
Yeah, I guess.
Does formal teaching, I guess, does that constitute like continual, rendering of services? Like you pick up students and mentor and obviously get compensated for that? I guess that's what it is, right?
Yeah. Match Fixer, I do apologise for the piss weak attempt at a song. If you'd like to choose another one that I'm more familiar with, feel free. So Bucks, we need to. I promised the lady who did the boobies that I omit from the stream that we would do a little bit of feedback for her tonight.
Sure thing. That sounds like a great plan.
And I've edited the photos so that. Oh, you fucking idiot, Deno.
Sounds great. We can do that. It is getting time, chat. Crimson Brushes is not far away, and we sort of herald the coming of Crimson Brush with a song that the chat should know well. It's a song about a little boy waiting on the...
Come on, mate.
On the corner of a lonely shack. Or something like that.
A singer in a smoky room. The smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting. Up and down the boulevard, their shadows searching in the night.
Bit of Journey, right?
Street light, people living just to find emotion, hiding somewhere in the night. Don't stop.
Have we just found 2023's song? I think we might have.
Hold on to that feeling, street light, people. Don't stop. So, Bucks, reflect on your experience the last few days, mate. I put you in the hot seat.
Yeah, which you tend to do. You tend to just say, hey, mate, you're going to be doing this.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? And I say, pretty good. I'm pretty excited for it. And then we just sort of run it at like a bull at a gate, right?
Yeah.
So my experience was obviously I got to experience a painting competition from the complete opposite side that I normally would. I'd usually be entering painting competitions and the recipient of feedback versus on the other side being a judge and giving that feedback. And so something that we could probably all get better at, not you guys, I just mean generally people when it comes to this hobby, is like rather than just looking at things and going, that's not for me or I don't like it, stopping and asking yourself, what is it about something that you don't like? I know I'll be doing that a whole lot more, or you know, not necessarily about liking or disliking, but an element that you think could be done better, or is done in a way that you find, you know, criticism of. So for me, that's a big one. Bit more active thinking surrounding not just looking at things and going, oh, I like this and this is why, and then moving on, or I don't like this and then not saying anything and moving on. So bit of a gab there, but yeah, that was an important one for me.
Good.
It was really I had to think a lot more than I think you and Christoph did. I think you and Christoph can kind of just look at something and almost immediately sort of see and comment on what you think needs to be adjusted, whereas I think I was finding myself buying time when I had comment to start with things that I enjoyed, and then as I sort of peered over the piece, be able to more critically assess it. So something that you and Christoph should definitely be credited for, because that's quite a talent.
It's a talent, is it, mate?
Yeah.
I'll fight you.
I think so.
I'll fight you.
Yeah. A skill? Would you rather a skill?
Thank you.
I know you don't like talent.
All right. I'm about to try this LED.
All right. Let's see if you've successfully achieved your goals.
Am I?
Yeah. So that's
am I Albert Einstein?
It was quite interesting to have the 4 different perspectives over the event.
I'm Albert Einstein. Ooh. Ooh. This LED looks a little bit brighter than the last one, so maybe I did fuck it. Hey Rocket, come and look at this. I made light. You can start calling me God. How fun. Alright. So that power source is no good, is the short answer. Prometheus, the bringer of fire. So I need some advice from the great people of the chat. What I would like, I'm going to let that cool down for a bit, and I'm going to draw some pictures on here. I think I've got a pencil here, or a pen. Hang on, I'll come back. No. I'll be back in a second. Oh, okay. Alright. Hello, I'm back. So, we have a stained glass window, right? I know this is a black pen, but you can still see, one hopes. Yeah. We have a stained glass window at the top of my thing, right? What I was planning on doing is some sort of circular LED pattern type thing with multiple LEDs that I then diffuse with a piece of something, foam or similar, so that you have what essentially looks like a moon. And then I was going to paint a little bit of cloud in a very subtle way over this foam, which will then sit behind the stained glass window, which I'll make quite dark. So my question is, I'm confident that I've got enough room to wire it, enough room to do it electrically. What sort of LED should I use for this approach, for this circular approach, so that it looks like a moon? Any thoughts, you wonderful people? What I was thinking, hello there Swanky Steve, was these little jobbos, but and maybe like putting 3 or 4 of them together. I'm not sure. Welcome Steve. I appreciate your name, Swanky Steve.
We're gonna figure out a way to stay on camera while painting. A bit of a fidget comes to.
Well, this was a fun start to my stream, I've got to tell you. Zoom out a little bit.
What have you done?
No, nothing. I just friggin' did some soldering.
Yeah, well. Have you had like the soldering kit for a while? Like, or did you recently just pick it up?
No, I bought it a while back when I started planning the. Can you see the LED circuit I just made? You can! I would love to show you. It's awful, but it worked. It is... which one is it? Yes, here we go. I have an LED attached to 2 wires, and the wires then have this a battery thing that I can switch on and off. Yep, but I don't... so the problem is I don't want to use the controller for this particular project. I have an Arduino thing that I can learn how to code, but that one is intended for my Nico Galaxy City diorama that I'm planning. How long does that take to cool down? That's still hot, Deno. Don't touch the fucking thing.
There's only one way to find out, mate.
That's still hot. Yeah, so any... Wow, that is really hot. Any advice on those LEDs? Should I get like a light that you would use in your house? Will that work?
Like a small one, like a lamp one?
Yeah. I got one. I got an LED light in my kitchen.
I mean, that seems the most logical for like a hobby approach, right? To just rip it off something else that it's being used for because more pressing need arise. You can get light up LED arcade buttons. That could be the right size.
Yeah. Good. So
That's
if anyone, it doesn't really need to be a color. I mean, red. So I was going to use red because I was like thinking I could call the piece. Wait for it. Blood Moon. How good is that? So
card, great card, great name.
Thank you. So then, but then I can just put a bit of cellophane over it. I'm gonna be diffusing it anyway. So. See you, Jared. I didn't know you were in New Zealand, mate, but have fun.
See you, Jared.
The problem with those LEDs, Azatoth, that they're probably not going to be either circular enough or juiced up enough. So that MIG-back idea could be the go.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty creative.
It's fun to learn new things, isn't it?
It is. I just spent a weekend doing it.
Gonna call that my soldering area up there. Well, I've got so many fun activities planned for that project.
The old solder station.
Yeah, I found there's this thing called. Okay, Swanky. Yeah, I've got an Arduino, but I didn't really want to use it for this project. Oh, well, actually, it's not. I don't know if it's an Arduino or if it's a cheapo version, but I was thinking instead of using the Arduino for my other project because I'm going to use that to turn on all these other LED lights and strips and stuff. There's a cool thing called a LED Filament Box, which is like a flexible cable like this.
Yeah, like a filament wire.
Yeah, filament wire with all little LEDs in it, and so you can so you can wire that. So I found a place that sells those as well, so I could try them. I suppose I could try wrapping some filament wire just around in a circle, see if that works. Maybe I'll look into that. Maybe I'll look into that right now. We're not doing anything else.
Sure.
I'll bring it up on the screen. Do 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 do. And then I'll grab my models out and show you where they're at. There. Yeah. So let me show you. Let me show you my screen because I've got a. I found this website in all of my extensive research that has what I need for the LEDs that I'm putting together. Yeah, I actually started at the model railroad stuff, and I started with looking at pre-set up, pre-soldered stuff, and I didn't think it was going to be much of a learning experience. Basically, I was like, if I just try learning how to do this, at least I'll get something out of it. So yeah, I found how to set up resistors and stuff on this website. So anyway, check this out, Bucks. This is this filament wire.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah, how mad's this?
That looks mad.
So, and
that'd be way. You could do crazy stuff with this.
Yeah, well,
can you make it red?
Yeah, so I'm going to use that on the Cyberpunk City for neon signs.
Yeah,
because it's obviously going to look sick for that. But I wonder if I could just swirl a couple of those around into a circle and then diffuse it.
For the moon?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could also use these to set a backlight for where it feels like the female vampire with the huge axe. Not axe, it's a thingo, isn't it? It's a pike. Halberd. Where she's coming from to make it look like it's lit as another option too.
So look at this. This tells you information that is really relevant. 3-volt power supply, high brightness, only 3 volt. Cool. That's just so you could power 3 of these with a 9-volt battery. Do you need? Let me read this thing. LED current. What's the current on this? Operating current 80 mA. 80 mA. Voltage drop. Well, this one, if we just sort of swirled this bad boy around, why does that keep coming up there? Fuck off. Yeah, this one, if we swirled that around, I don't know how big that is.
It looks zoomed, like just by the focus of the wires.
Well, it's actually, I'll tell you,
it's been
the measurement of it from A to A is 257 millimeters. So what's that? 260 millimeters. Is that 26 centimeters? That seems long.
Yeah, let me check. 260 cm. 26. Yeah, 26 centimeters.
That's pretty long. He says as the screen's covering up. That's pretty long. It's like roughly this long. I wonder. The only issue is you need. I suppose I could put it at the. Whirl it around like this. Feels like I am trying to put a LED filament into a round hole.
You feel like that's going to be the plan?
No, let me. I'll just go on to JCar because they had some LED. I don't have any resistors, no, but I can go to these guys anytime and just get whatever I want. These guys have. Okay, the LEDs are likely to be wired in parallel and already have limiting resistors, so wouldn't wire 3 of them in a series. Okay, that's good advice. Yeah, so I just go to this place. I was going to get one of these things, a red LED matrix, right? And put a circle over it, so you only have circles. The problem is you need to power that with the Arduino.
It's got to be elegant as well, right? Like
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
something
I don't want it to. I don't want it to be a shit job.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be shit.
This is really like factors into something we spoke about on stream yesterday, which is when you start to introduce elements that are non-painted elements.
Yeah.
They've really got to be like
good.
Yeah.
So I want it to be. I want it to be subtle, right? Like I don't want it to be just
Yeah. I feel ya.
LED backlight module. That could be the go.
Yeah. No point do you want someone to be like, oh, check the LEDs. Right?
Yeah. It should look like a moon.
The
but
first thing they should be is like, oh, cool. This look.
But
they shouldn't even see the LED really.
It should be cool. It should be cool. Like, it should be make someone go, wow, that's awesome. And it looks like a moon, but it doesn't look so overpoweringly stupid that everyone's like, wow.
Give me 1 sec.
Yeah. LED backlight module.
What about like LED ring?
That's alright, Don Giovanni. That would be awesome, mate. I really am shooting in the dark here, so... LED backlight module. That's not spelt correctly, Dano. Oh yeah, here we go. This could be the go. This could be the go.
Yeah, it looks like it's got power.
White LED backlight module. Here we go. $7.10. Awesome. What's the size of this? Let's watch this together, friends.
Well, if you get a white one, you just got to filter it, right? Which you can do with cellophane or whatever.
Backlights separately, and they're actually really cool.
Oh, that's pretty small.
White LED encased in acrylic, and they have this kind of special diffused acrylic that emits light from the front only.
That could be good though, hey?
And they have a little bit of wrapping on the side and the backs.
Could be.
Don't,
shape would be awkward to work with.
They don't emit light from the bottom because if you're using it as a backlight.
What is its thockness? Good question, Hiroshi.
These LEDs on the overhead. So let's check this out. We've got a battery pack, and since they're white LEDs, you want to run them at
Not
3
very
4
bright.
volts or so. You can check the data sheet for exactly. And then yeah, they're just like a really nice. So this side is actually not bright, and this side is super bright, and it's very uniform.
That's 45 millimeters, so 4.5 by 86 millimeters.
Really nice. So this is the little mini size. It's like 1x8 LEDs, and then I'll show the medium, which is the same as uses a 16x2. This is what it looks like off. And then they all have one LED that's driven at 20 milliamps. It's also a really efficient way to get a pretty backwards.
I wore one of these we have a
All right,
weekly
thank you
hot
for your
meeting.
great inspirational conversation, you absolute spuds. LED backlight module.
They're getting quite excited, weren't they?
Yeah, it's just a fucking light source, guys. What else we got?
So I hope you don't mind. I really don't have anything to add to these conversations.
No, that's okay,
I'm just
buddy.
gonna potter away until
oh, here we go. This is the
let the
ticket.
chat do the work.
This is the ticket. Look at this bad boy. That's perfect.
That's exactly what you want. Yeah, I would have thought there would have been round LED coins, effectively.
That could be spot on. Like, that could just be absolutely spot on. How the fuck do I get that? Round semicircle backlight LED, 50mm diameter. I'm just going to Google that. Core Electronics has it. Great. Perfect. Alright, but how bright is it? And how do I fucking wire it? Let's have a look. Where is the data sheet? Here we go. This is what we need. Good. Alright. White 6000 kelvins. Supply voltage DC 3.0 volts. I don't understand why they have to specify DC. That's battery, isn't it? Did they? Sick. Swanky Steve, you've come in at the perfect time, mate. Well done. Yeah, I did know that. Alternating currents AC, I knew that one. But is that battery? I can never remember which one's which. Because I don't want to plug it into the wall. Yeah, okay. I don't... well... AC's from the wall. Okay. So, A is the negative terminal. K is the positive terminal, I think. Or one of those two. I remember it says it on this page. A is the positive. K is the terminal good. So this needs a battery that has 3 volts to power it. So, could I wire one of these to literally this jobbo, which is 2 1.5 volt batteries? Would that work? This thing, is that enough juice? Should I instead use a 9 volt battery and then use some sort of resistance? Okay. So, alright.
Are we just throwing some obligatory hype? Are we cooking with gas here, mate? Are we on?
We're on! We're on, son! I just got to make my notes.
Woo!
Smaller gauge
Woo!
wire. LED semicircle backlight. Good. And 9 volt battery, jobbo, and good. So, I'm in love with this idea. I think this is great. This feels like a perfect way, and then I can put, you know, whatever thing I want over the top of it to diffuse it, but it looks as though this will already be diffused. So what I want to do is subtly add some painting. Yeah, cool. Alright. So should it be a 9 volt battery, or should it be this jobbo? Alright, what sort of resistors will that be, Steve, though? And once again, you've done me a massive service by stepping into the stream tonight, Steve.
Has Steve been sent down from the heavens, mate?
I think, Stephen, I think I'd like to start calling you Steve Harrington, because he's actually my favourite character in just about every television show ever. And you've fallen into that category for tonight, Steve Harrington. What a legend.
Give me one moment while I solve all of your problems.
Give me one
my
moment.
first time entering the stream.
Whilst I make your life so much better. Why, thank you,
Yeah.
Stephen. You great man. Alright, we need to find the photos from Steve Harrington. What a character, eh?
Great character.
What an
True
absolute
hero,
legend.
like the real hero of Stranger Things.
He really
honestly.
is. Alright, what number was that number that I said I can't? I think it's 102. There it is. Great.
Part of us all sort of aspire to be Steve Harrington in a way,
Oh,
right?
look. Steve's my boy. Alright. So yeah, I had a really good time reflecting on the painting experience, mate. I think it was a really wonderful time that you and I got to spend together with Christoph, who's
I think so. Yeah, it's something like, I know it's a lot of work and it can't be understated. 12 hours of streaming, but it's not sort of 12 hours of streaming where you get to turn your brain off at any point, right? Like, it's just, if you commit to the responsibility of assisting people and offering feedback, we try to give everyone the same effort every time. Obviously it's not easy to do that with some issues with photography or composition and stuff like that. Maybe some people, not quite getting their category right that they should have entered. But, for all of that on a whole, I really enjoy doing it. I really enjoyed doing it and would be interested in doing it again if the opportunity is ever to present itself.
So just from Steve Harrington in the chat, so should I instead go with like 6 volts? Is that a better? Because I can put together a little 4. There's a 4 thing of these AA batteries. That's just a little bit bigger than I was sort of wanting to put into the thing. As close. Okay, well, there was a 3 of these. 3 batteries is 4.5. Yeah, so I could do 3 AA batteries for 4.5. And then I also would like to put in a switch. There's a little switch I can buy like this, but not built into the thing. You can just put it in the negative bit. Okay, so we're going to go for a 3. I'm just writing this down whilst I'm here. 3 by AA battery holder, and then switch, which I think you just put in the negative line. You just cut that up and put the switch in, and smaller gauge wire. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all the things I'll need for the moon. Yeah, it's exciting.
Something that I found interesting for the KDM
Yeah.
stuff is that there seemed to be like a fairly formulaic way of painting them. Like a few things stepped out of the KDM space with some really desaturated stuff or some hyper colorful stuff, but for a lot of it seemed in a similar sort of vogue. Did you find that at all?
That's an aesthetic Kingdom Death thing, right? Like they're very much done in a specific way. The art style, it's quite cool. Yeah. All right, I've got her on stream. Here she is. This is
Alrighty.
The one. This is.
You could have given her two LED caps, mate.
So she is not nude anymore, and I feel much more comfortable providing feedback on my stream. Welcome to this Pashka model, Andrew.
Yeah, so I got to see this for a blink of an eye sort of on stream, and it wasn't one that I'd had the opportunity to see off stream. I'm immediately like, there are some pretty cool elements. I'm liking the flower freehand on the cloak.
Yep.
I think that's really nice. I am enjoying the transition of colour between where the source light is and the dress itself. It shows a pretty reasonably strong understanding of the right colours used to transition that. It feels really quite nuanced, so I enjoy that. Skin tone's pretty nice. Face like is good enough, but probably needs a little more work just in how you separate. We've probably gone for too strong separation line. The blacks generally, this is what a lot of painters sort of, even at the masters level, were challenged with, is making sure that when they do separate elements, they're separating it with the right colors. Applying a softness when needed and a depth when needed and in the right places. It seems like a lot of people kind of got mixed up on where they were doing that. Base work is fine. Probably would have liked to have seen a little more a little more refined, a little more rendering in those bricks, a little more depth in the shadows. Things I didn't think you could really work on. The weapon, her little dagger. From the first angle, it wasn't really reading as anything. It's sort of non-metal metallic, but not really non-metal metallic. And then the way that you've done the blood is just way too artificial. Like it doesn't look at it like it at all. So we can give you some advice on how to shear that up once we've finished having a good look. Do we have a back view to have a look at the
we
scissors?
have scissors... no back view. The scissors are such a cool component, and we have no back view of them.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
going to let you go.
Hang on.
Now
We've just got a schematic question. Let me bring up the schematics. Here we go. Friends, on the schematics. Supply current IF equals 15 MA by 2. And LED type 2 SMD LEDs. Here, this might help. I'll just put this in the chat. There you go. You can have a read, and that way you can refer to it anytime. And once again, Steve Harrington winning at life tonight. Look, I'm going to go... look, since I've taken all of this time and effort to go and bring this onto the stream and cover up the boobers, I am going to tear it to shreds. So, I like the colour palette a lot. This is exactly how I would want to see white executed, with lovely colour elements integrated. You know, there's the teals, there's the purples that are tied into everything else on the model. That's great. The flowering is also great, but I don't... See you, Steve-O. You're a legend. Thank you. Unless you
see you, Steve. Literally sent by whoever you were to fix the day and then just leave.
God's gift to the world, Steve Harrington. See you, buddy. The face is solid, but the eyes are lacking, and there's a few elements that really fall short. This lantern is not reading as a lantern to me. It's reading as a yellow egg. The base is just very, very, very basic without really adding anything to the scene. Doesn't integrate to the story. These stockings, it just look like flat purple from a certain angles. This third angle here, that's just a flat and boring purple. I think it's also harmful to the piece because it's a pale purple. Would have much preferred to see that be dark, which would then help drive your focus upwards. Oh, there's Big Deno. What are we doing here, Deno? What is that? Oh, I think I remember what that is. Yeah, that was me recording a video for Word Miniatures when I had to introduce myself. We can watch that if you want. It's not that interesting. I think I took about one take. I like the overall highlighting on the skin. I think that's good, consistent, even lighting. But the scissors, such a strong element in the actual sculpt, and poorly executed, in my opinion.
Do you think that's something we maybe should have actually spoke about more? Is like when you're painting for a competition, you kind of need to assess your model and really think about what you want to display on this model, you know, to the judges.
Yeah.
And there are going to be elements that just tell you have to display me. And on this model, it's the scissors.
I think the scissors are unreal.
Yeah, it's such a cool element. It's a pin-up of the scissor knife. So like it's these weird sort of like it's not the right thing, but I have this like they're like Easter shears to me. I don't know, you know, like they're decorated in a weird way that sort of makes it look like that. It was such a cool element to this model.
I think the hair is basic. Would have liked to have seen some more value shifts in the hair. Really, the lantern is such a downwards point compared to the rest, and actually I feel like the dagger as well. So
yeah, the dagger and the lantern.
the dagger and the lantern really overall harmful, but I will compliment these beads. Look at these beads. That's legit.
Yeah. There's one thing that those beads are missing to make them absolutely go bonkers, right? Which is they need, on the very underside of each bead, it needs a strong highlight, and that will, as a reflection from the bead coming from below it, and that is how you get them beads to just look insane.
That looks really cool from that angle. The beads there, that angle looks really good, and then you go to this front-on angle, and you're like, bleh.
Yeah.
It's not
I mean,
not as good.
we've got like a yolk yellow lantern, right? And that's like, it's sort of, it's killing the beads.
So
beads are way
the
better
non-metallic
than
metal is the part that lets this whole piece down. I think also things like, so it's a very pastel model, that's a colour palette you want to lean into, but you also need to create contrast. And if the flowers were maybe done in a dark grey, not necessarily black, but just a darker element instead of the lighter element, might have looked better. I do like the white though, but this purse could have been a dark colour, would have helped create more focus.
yeah, like just a darker version of itself. Like,
yeah.
you can keep it in the purple
Maybe
tone, just
dark
maybe
magenta,
push it
yeah.
deeper. I think without like placing this directly where I think it would have, placed in the event, I sort of see this sitting in that between sort of 6 to 10, right? Like
Yep.
in placings. Like I
Yeah.
think that the Black Knight was better than this, and that didn't make it through.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so it's not falling into the top 4. Probably just missing that comment where we were like, this is on the cusp, and probably just sitting just under that.
yeah.
So I hope that was beneficial, Trish. I will send you the link to this, and you can provide any thoughts or disagreements.
Finishing on a positive note, I think you nailed the skin on this. So you did really well.
Skin is an absolute highlight in every way, and really, I'm trying to be critical on the dress, but I actually think the dress is sublime as well. Love to see the colour, the area that, it's the detail elements that really let this down.
Yeah.
Not the core, fun
Yeah, the
part to
trinkets,
paint.
as we like to say. All the trinkets surrounding it. There's 3 trinkets that you kind of need to get right. You need to get the scissors right, the blade right, and the lamp right.
Yeah.
And they are creating a triangle. And if that triangle feels off, like it's going to impact that central area that you've just painted really, really well. So
I've got to find this guy from Instagram. So, Natalia's classes are officially sold out now, I think.
Western Australia sold out as well.
Every class, full
Sold out as
stop,
well.
sold out. Every class, full stop,
That's
sold
wonderful
out.
news. Wonderful news for Natalia.
Yeah, I think so.
I'd be pretty stoked if what's that, over 40 spots sold out countrywide.
12
Well
per
over.
class, 5 classes, so 60.
Yeah.
Any of those figures from yesterday that you wanted to buy?
Me?
Hmm.
Like actually buy to own their figures, or buy the model to paint myself?
Both.
Both. Yeah, there's definitely 3 figures that it's made me really interested in painting. I'm really interested in painting the Butcher. I'm really interested in painting Visionary. No
Yep.
secret, 2 of the most popular models there. There's a reason those models are good. And actually, seeing more of Pasha has made me interested in potentially doing something like that. It's probably a little bit too dainty for me and my taste, Pasha. But that's never a bad thing. That could push me into a new space and out of my comfort zone. So
Yeah, I think it's good to change up how you feel about things sometimes, eh?
I'm actually I lean for Kingdom Death. I lean out of the pinups and more into the echoes of Death. Is it?
Oh, yeah.
And
Echoes are good.
and the monsters. I enjoy those elements more.
Yep. So this is Rottweiler. He jumped on the stream yesterday. Unfortunately, I couldn't acknowledge him all as well as I would have liked. I couldn't provide feedback as we were in the midst of a judging extravaganza. So I apologise, Rottweiler. I am normally very willing and open to provide feedback to anyone. Now, I believe he was entering a competition coming up this weekend.
I managed to get as far as well as sort of opening it up and having a tertiary glance, but not enough to give honest feedback. So yeah, sorry again, mate. We just had too many things to look at.
They went on sale about a month ago, Migback. You're in Brisbane, aren't you?
Nah, he's
in Melbourne. He's in Melbourne.
Canberra.
Canberra?
I'm going to say. I reckon he's Canberra.
Why do I feel like he's from Brisbane? Maybe I'm getting mixed up with someone else. Yeah, okay.
Got him.
Good on ya, got him. Yeah, she's not doing a class in Canberra. You weak fuck.
If you come to CanCon, to Crimson Brush, you will definitely get to at least say good day.
Yeah, have a chin wag to her. All right, Rottweiler, I like a couple of things about your work, my friend. Very clean, smooth paintwork. Particularly like the sword, very smooth, very soft, good. I think your true metallic metal needs better definition on the edges, on creating the highlight areas on those metal areas, and the same could be said of potentially things like skin or some edge highlighting on the light areas. I'm not a big fan of painting Space Marines myself. I think the problem with painting Space Marines is there's really only one or two good ways to do it that look good. So my advice is to continue chipping away. I think how you're going to go in the competition, I'm not too sure what the standard is like, but these are good, solid, what I would classify gaming pieces that will stand up to pretty good scrutiny. So good luck, Rottweiler, and I hope you are successful. And unfortunately, I banned both of your friends. I'll send you the link now, champion.
Shall we roll into the next one?
Mig back. Guess who's back? Back again.
Alrighty, a subject matter very close to my heart.
Migback's back. Tell a friend. Migback's back.
You've been working with Meg as well.
Migback's back.
Nice.
I've created a monster. 'Cause nobody wants to see Marshall no more. I'm just looking at your other work, Migback. Just to provide some context to myself around how good or bad you are.
It informs how deep the roast will go.
Correct. It is all about whether I pound hard or I'm a gentle and considerate lover.
Yeah, you've got potato photos, but you've got us at a good time because we've just observed many potato photos. It's usually when a potato photo comes out of nowhere and comes out aggressively that it gets reamed the hardest, but we see sort of a few challenging photos over the weekend. So,
what is your piece for, Migback? What is your piece for? Is it just for your army? What type of feedback would you like? Well, there's elements I like, and there's elements I very much dislike. So, the elements I like are the colours that you've used for both the gold and for the steel. I think they're exactly in the right colour zones to read as metal, which is great. Particularly find the sword to be nice. You've got some subtlety of blue tones in there and the warm yellow for the lights. I like that a lot. What I don't like is the lack of sophistication in some of the placement of lights on the gold. There's nothing that stands out as out and out wrong, but it just feels like a baby's first NMM. Like you've just copied someone else's lights, instead of sort of feeling where your own light source is and where you want the placement to be. I feel like it's kind of like a boring placement of lights. You've just got this front line. Would have liked to have seen maybe sort of from the side, creating a light on this side and maybe a shadow on the other side. That's just a personal thing. I want to see something a bit more interesting than this straight up and down.
Preface that with there's nothing wrong with copying someone's lights when you're learning something new, but at every step of the way when doing that, you have to be asking yourself, be active, be asking yourself, why did the painter choose to do this? What are they trying to achieve, and what am I trying to achieve by copying them, right? You know, the more confidence you'll grow in that space, the more confidence you'll grow to just do it yourself without necessarily having to look at an inspiration or a piece in front of you. This does feel very much like you're caught between the twilight that is like, I am an army painter and I am starting to push towards learning display painting.
Indeed.
So there are like residual clues for this, right? Like there's like you've edged line highlighted stuff that you don't need to, but you probably feel that you need to because that's a traditional kind of trope in army painting. Some of the pieces of armor, for example, the way that you've highlighted the tunic or his skirt, I guess it probably is, or his dress.
Yeah. So what color is the cloak? Is it intended to be white or is it intended to be grey? If it's intended to be white, you've way undershot. If it's intended to be grey, it's okay, but
silver grey. Yeah, it's supposed to be the silver grey.
Yeah, it doesn't read correctly. Is it supposed to be like a non-metallic metal grey? Is that what it's supposed to be? Like a because I would sort of understand more of this fucking thing than here. This line, like what the fuck is this? And this. If it's meant to be like glistening, a bit of sheen, okay, well, yeah, it's not as bad then. But again, the question I ask is, where is the light source, right?
Yeah.
From our front on angle, it looks like the light is from the top down, and then we come here and we have a look at this, and all of a sudden we've got giant shadow lines, where potentially there should be light. Now, without seeing the model in the hand, it's hard to assess that, but to be pumping up to that next level, it's all about really understanding all of the angles, all of the light sources, and being consistent across all of that. The blue's great. Love the blue.
It looks very much, Trent, like Migback has jumped onto the wild stallion that is contrasted, hasn't quite yet learned how to wrangle it, right? Like we've got, like you've got to like that's how I like to think about things sometimes, when you're first trying stuff. You're giving it a red hot go, you kind of understand what you're doing a little bit, but you stay on the bull or the horse for a few seconds, you think, oh, I'm there, and then you get bucked, and then you get back up and you go again. So good effort at trying to harness contrast, but probably not quite there yet. Just a quick note on the cloak, and I mean, Peter Jackson can, like, I'm just going to say this, kindly fuck off with the idea that having shimmering cloaks was a good idea. Like, for all us miniature painters out there, that presents quite a challenge. And as being someone who's painted a lot of these cheeky elves in my time, it's something that I don't think I've ever seen done correctly or had the chance to do correctly myself. It almost feels like they've interwoven metallic dipped strings through the cloak to make it shimmer in the way that it does. And I mean, that's beyond my comprehension of how to achieve that at this point with a cloak. So it may be better in this instance, pulling out of that idea and just jumping into something, that's probably a little less ambitious and more where you can focus on your technical practice.
I disagree with Bucks. I think it's just straight shithouse. But
cloak,
yeah, but the blues.
Oh, I'm not saying the cloak is good. I'm saying
the blue's good.
it's a challenging subject matter. That's
All right, the blue's
The
good.
cloak is not good. It needs a lot of work, but
Migback, thank
I
you for
understand
sharing.
the challenge of that cloak.
Thank you for sharing your work with us, Migback. Hopefully you will come back after that. Migback's back. This
So
classic model. I love these guys so much. This is from the era of Gretchens and Orcs. The little Gretchens
All the
with
same
the
size.
spike, holding the guns, all pointing the same way. It's an absolute classic. I love
Second
this
edition
era.
40K.
Oh, I love it. This takes me back to my childhood so much. You've even gone the goblin green base with the edging, even though it's actually not goblin green. It's a little bit too dark for that, but it's just a classic callback, isn't it?
You know, some might be a little timid when going that way, but Azza has just gone all the way. He's gone full hog and just said, let me give you some second edition 40k.
Yeah.
And I appreciate this.
Yeah.
And as such, I think, Trent, we should do something a little different here. Because this is in the second edition vein, we should critique this in the style that it's been painted.
All right.
Right?
I think you come up with some absolute drivel sometimes, Andrew, and this is absolutely one of those instances.
No way! He's literally gone exactly for a second ed orc, man. He's not trying to fucking do non-metal metallic.
I'm not
He's
saying-
not trying to
I'm
do
not
fucking
saying-
elaborate blends everywhere.
I'm not
He's
saying
getting
that he
in
needs
bright,
to do
bold
that.
colours.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't need to specify that I'm critiquing the work. I'm just going to be truthful, mate. I'm just going to speak from the heart. Saturation generation represent. Drill out your gun barrel. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll start there.
My second
You know,
question.
You're getting flamed on that one.
Yeah. My second question. How did this take you 10 hours?
Yeah, fair.
Good. There's nothing I dislike about the model. Like, it's great. But I just don't comprehend how it took you 10 hours. It's just like...
Yeah.
If that took me
Because
10
I'm
hours,
bad.
I'd give the game away. Like, I'd be out. You want to know what I painted in 10 hours? Where's a model I painted in 10 hours?
Here comes Brutal Deno. He's been too kind over the weekend. It's coming out. It's breaking through.
Literally any model that I've
He's ready
painted.
to tell people up. Get out of the way.
Any model in the last friggin' 6 months that I've painted was under 10 hours. It's just, come on, son. Look, I actually love it. It's so reminiscent of the old school. What clan's this? Is this the Deaf Copters? Well, no.
Deaf Copter. Come on, mate.
No, I'm trying to remember. It's not Evil Sons. It's not.
He's closer to a goth than anything.
A goth,
else,
yeah, it's a
but-
goth, isn't it? Yeah, it's a goth.
Well, there's probably too much red for it to be
It's
a
a
goth.
goth because
but it
they had
looks
the
closer
checks,
to
didn't
a
they? They had
goth.
the black and red
Yeah.
checks. I love the goths.
Yeah. Don't worry, Az. I've got you, mate.
I love it. Now, look, I tell you, there's a couple of things I would try to improve. The first is if you add a little spot of white to the eyes. I think that'd just give them a little bit more pop and sheen. I think the axe, the steel axe, if we could just add a little bit more of like a bright, and I'm gonna old school it up here, just a little mithril silver.
Get in there,
on
mate.
the
That's
edges.
not right. Get in there.
Just get a little mithril silver on those edge tips.
This is what you got to do, chat. You got to appeal to his nostalgia. You know, you got to like. He's gonna lash out with some brutal feedback, but then he's a nostalgic man, so the love of Warhammer will come through him eventually.
Yeah. You know, I'd love to see a little bit more red gore in the shadows. The old red gore, what a classic.
Absolute classic. I mean, look, you are missing an absolute staple colour.
Snakebite leather on the brown.
There it is. Snakebite leather. Mix, get it into those horns. No, what I will say is this time, this period, like the volumes in painting had not really been explored very much. So it was all about like incredibly stark transitions and power toward the back end, right? Like super vibrant was this time frame. So don't be afraid, be brave, push that color. Like push that green in the skin a bit more, you know. That's my 2 cents.
Kudos on the cleanliness of the paint job too. There's not really element that feels out of place. There's no overspill. You know, everything is where it should be and as it should be. There's the black and red. You love to see it. The zigzag pattern's good. Look, well done, and look, mate, never be ashamed to share your work. Andy said something lovely in the Kingdom Death Discord yesterday about the fact that everyone's on their own journey. And if this was my model 15 years ago, I would have been absolutely chuffed to the rafters. I would not have been able to do this. Not saying that it'll take you 15 years to reach my level. It might take you 6 months. It doesn't matter how long it takes, as long as you're having fun, enjoying your painting. Just get in and paint some cool shit, man.
The final rule on this, boy, is you're not going to cheat us. You're not going to get it past us. That ain't Goblin Green on the base.
It's not Goblin Green. You're a disgrace.
If you're going back to this generation, I need to see some Goblin Green.
Yeah. If you can't find
source it from wherever it is. Get it.
Yeah. It's like a Warp Lightning Green. It's disgraceful. Yeah. It goes back into the...
Stone glow.
Throw it back in the bin, mate. Throw it back in the bin. Yeah. If you're not going to have Goblin Green on the base, you can get fucked. Alright, we got...
Well, you just got to fix it as, like...
How many times do you want to post the same gall, mate?
No, he's put all of them for us, and he wants Scara wants a bit more of a brutal rub.
It's all the same gall. Look, these two photos are the same.
I thought he was giving us all of them. I'm sorry. Yeah, to give us them all together, done. Just one photo of everything.
I've painted this model.
That's the piece. Like the galls, although they are cool individual, the piece is all three of them together.
I've painted this model.
It is you in model form.
It is me in model form.
Minus the absolute rack that this guy is.
What else do you do? Azza? Oh, dwarves. Yes. Yes.
A true fan of Old Hammer.
Oh, is that... Yeah, that's the Michael Contreras one. I thought so. 10 minutes versus 1 hour versus 10 hours.
Ah, yeah. This is a mini act video.
Maybe I should do that challenge. But maybe instead of doing
10 seconds, 10 minutes, and what, 1 hour?
1 hour. Maybe that's what I should do. Imagine 10 seconds. No. Yeah, I wonder what I could do in
the 2 pump dump, mate. 2 brush strokes, call it a day. Masterpiece.
I could paint a lot of fucking models in 10 hours, I tell you what. Good one. Alright, here we go. Scatterboss has come through. Alright. Okay, let's go. Okay. My first question to you, Scarabost. How inspired were you by the box art of Alfonso Giraldez? I can actually see evidence of that, and there's a few areas where that is actually really playing in your favour. This circle on this guy's chest is pretty cool. I like that a lot, but it's very reminiscent of Alfonso's work. I know how challenging these three fellows are to paint, and combining the three of them into a cohesive and coherent trio is very challenging. And what I'm getting from this overall is a discordant jangle of colours, textures, and metals. And it feels just a little too much like a rainbow cacophony of colour. But there are a lot of elements that are rendered really well and that I like a lot. The non-metallic metal elements, the helmet that he's carrying, the chest plate on the other guy, elements of the shields, really land well. The problem is you didn't get all of the non-metallic elements to land as well as you did those ones, probably because they're smaller and it's harder to be inspired by Alfonso's work. But I think the observation I have on the non-metallic metal is that they don't all have a consistent light source for all of the models, or even for the metal on some of the models. Like particularly this guy on the left, the light source for his helmet doesn't read anywhere near as like it's in the same spot as his chest plate. So
Right. For me, can I jump in here now on
Please.
something that I...
please.
So structurally, the skin is not highlighted in the correct way. So on the face, for example, of our lead ghoul, the Vercingetorix, you have his frown line extends all the way down to the base of his jaw, and then you highlight the jaw along the line. It needs to be, the cheek needs to be receiving the light, and then that jawline for the most part would almost be pretty close to shadow. It certainly wouldn't be as strong or as pronounced as what it is. You see some of those same sort of choices made with the forearm on the banner, the standard, on both of them. Something that I see a lot is like this is another example that shows someone transitioning from miniature painting to display painting, is highlighting it like it's sort of a miniature, like for gaming, where we sort of you just pick out the muscles and go from there. Like it's good that you've got the depth there, but the depth has to match the light, and then they also have to be in the right place. So for example, on the forearm with the banner bearer on not holding the pole, the one sort of in the background there should be some light. Yeah, so there's that one, and then the other side as well, if you have a look. Like there needs to be light at the top of the muscles, the very top, like where it is, where the light would be coming down on it. So it's not quite reading to me as the correct placements. So that's one for me. One thing I do like, I like the attempt at the texture.
Yeah, that's something I was going to comment positively on. The textural elements are good. This guy's fabric on the banner bearer, really good. I think you probably could have leaned into it a little more on some of the other fabric material surfaces. And I guess if you're going to do freehand like this, it's pretty good, right? Because it's a really big surface, but because it's a big flat surface, you should be able to just spend the time to get it right, to just draw a line, and if it doesn't work, try again, because I want to see far more symmetry on these two patterns than I am now. I don't know if the dude painted it on himself. Maybe that's why you felt like you could have a free pass, but
yeah, this is, if you go down that path, and speaking for myself on doing that in previous pieces, both ways, if you're lending to the idea that he has painted it himself, then everything on that shield needs to look real. Like the wood grain needs to look particularly real, the metal needs to have the right contrast, there needs to be external elements, dirt, all of these sorts of things that like push down that realistic path. With this, it feels very much like and I mean this in the most sincere of ways, it's like my Fisher-Price's first shield. Like it's got things sort of all in the right place, but there's just not enough of everything, and so it looks just pretty flat and
baby's
uninspired.
first freehand.
Yeah, a bit flat and a bit uninspired. While we're on the shield, you probably need much more contrast in your metals. You've got like this really dark contrast on the rimming, and then you don't have it on the brace.
Yeah, the wood's good though.
The wood is good. Yeah, a bit
but
more depth outside of that.
Needs more
the
shadow.
placements are all good.
Needs more shadow, and the bit holding the wood, I actually sort of like the placement of the light. It's really pretty much a lot. Just not dark enough, just not reflecting enough. And the other common non-metallic metal mistake is just, mate, that's a very bright red. It's a vibrant bright red, and the metal is not reflecting any of it, and it should be. It should be something. So
should be in there.
I think this is a very creditable, commendable effort on a challenging triplicate of models. You are one of, probably only about 4 or 5 people that I've seen with a completed set of these 3 figures. So,
Pat yourself in the back for that.
commend you on that. That takes willpower, it takes effort, and good for you, buddy. So,
yeah, you definitely get a few pips on your stamina bar for that one.
yep. Alright, I am going to just put this away. I'm going to chuck a few things into my bin. Then we're going to look at some models. And then I'm going to finish the stream up tonight, friends. The stream for 12 hours on the weekend. It was a long fucking time. My
Bit of a
girlfriend,
whack, wasn't it?
Yeah. My girlfriend was having the best of times. Won't you, Rocket? That was a straight no. You can do it in a couple of ways, mate. You can airbrush. You could airbrush some red onto it. You could think about where the light would be bouncing the red. So, on the inside line of the rim, there would be some red there instead of white. You could glaze it on. Yeah.
There's very much instances where you can just paint it on.
Yep. Well, that was a fun little way to start the stream.
It's just soldering.
Just learning to solder on camera.
Yeah. How is the hair?
You shouldn't have started me here, mate.
You shouldn't have fired him up before he goes, because he's going to shred you on this. Before he goes, all I'm going to say is some miniatures do not, especially in the historical fields, often don't have the best hair for painting, but that does not excuse the painting on the hair. So I'll leave it to Deno now.
I'm gassed. I can't go as hard as I'd like, but it's shithouse, mate. Right? It's actively detracting from the piece because the hair doesn't look like hair. It looks like spaghetti on the main guy. It looks like old mates from Something About Mary with 150 swipes, and then other grey-haired guy, I don't know what's going on with him, but he looks like he's painted a beard on so he can compete in a Merlin, best dressed Merlin competition or something. Like, it's just trash bags all round. You need to think much more about what colour is hair, how does hair reflect light, where does it reflect light, why is it the same colour and consistency across the whole thing, It's just don't do it to me, alright? You're killing me. Alright, here we go.
Not a bad little run of feedback there for everyone.
I just got all these, I've prepared all of these models now. I might need to put some more PBA
It's got to
in
be
that.
close to the best one.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
It is very good.
I'll zoom
Who
in a bit.
painted this? Someone painted this like when I first started coming on on the channel with you on this. Yeah, was it Danzaran on Danzaran?
Danzaran.
No, maybe not Danzaran. AC Miniatures, maybe.
Yeah, AC might have done this.
Yeah.
Alright, so he's on his little thing, ready to go, ready to paint. Good, I'm excited. I have glued together this chick, and I also dropped her hair and broke her hair, so I had to glue that back on, which was not as fun as you'd think.
The girls of this project have had a rough trot.
Yeah, I've had a shocker. Filled her gaps, she's ready to go as well. I haven't settled on the placement of anyone yet, so that's why we're not starting painting yet, because you can't paint the models unless you know where the light source is, and we don't know where the light source is yet because we haven't
This model
finalised
is
the
a
placement.
banger up place.
Yeah, it's such a good model.
Where did it come from?
Carl Rudick, it's the same. They're all Carl Rudick's vampires.
Gotcha.
The Amitriel with the sculpting, this actually came out pretty nicely, I'm not going to lie. I am pretty chuffed with the gaping chest wound with the ribs cracked and splayed out. What do you think, Bucks? Does it look alright?
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. Did you order the last vampire we just looked at with a material?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I got caught off on it. Yeah, I was I swear I saw the photo with both of them together.
So you can see hair that I've sculpted there that's come out reasonably nicely. This bit here is also sculpted. this whole chest bit's sculpted. This bit of hair here is sculpted, so I think we'll get away with most of that without any issues whatsoever. So she's done, ready to go. We got this guy separated with his big old heart that he's ripped out of Amitriel's chest. It's going to be great to paint blood dripping down his arm. What a magnificent cloak. So good. He's ready to paint. I got this guy. Girl. I've added her hand in. Fortunately, we got away with this hand. Come on, focus, you duck fuck. Alright. Yeah, this hand is another model's hand. She's actually holding something, so I may still throw a little dagger in there or something, like she's performing a sacrifice. Not sure yet.
Chuck a mirror in there, that could be cool.
Mirror could be cool. Also broke this. Also snapped this bit. What a chump. But she's ready to go as well. And then this absolute mad dog and dude. My favourite model in the whole thing. What a legend. Little mould line.
Oh, is this on your favourite, the winged one?
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He makes an excellent point there, actually. Fucks. Why would a vampire own a mirror, mate?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, the irony of it would be quite funny. Or her vanity stretches so far, you know.
Yeah, good story, actually. This guy, who I broke his finger off. I snapped his finger. So I'm going to have to sculpt a finger.
Great.
I'm having a bad time with this one. I have to sculpt a finger.
I might have to retract my earlier comments to today about how this one's going to be your best one yet.
No, I think it is. I think it is. Very good. And this, I've put these two elements. Fucking hell, Dano. I nearly just dropped this guy as well. What the actual fuck are you doing with your life? So this guy, I've just got to gap fill his arm. But this comes off pretty easily. And attaches to this, so that what I plan on doing is painting the rock face first together, and then painting the two vampires separately, so that I can really give them the care and attention they deserve, given that they're actually pretty cool sculpted figures. So
yeah, they really are, aren't they? Like,
yep.
When you, this is the first time I think you've put them close up on cam.
Yep.
You couldn't.
Look at this
cheat
guy.
these.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, he's
This is sick.
He feels like a piece by himself.
Yeah, look at him. He's fucking mad.
That's Benny.
Yeah.
And the other one's Buxy. You know, just
Benny and Buxy
gromps.
just sitting at the throne of Deno. Just like
I set myself up at that
trying to ride the coattails, eh? All right, friends. I am going to. It's been 2 hours. We're going to give tonight an early mark. It's been a long weekend of streaming. Hope you're all having a wonderful week. I'll be back on Sunday. I think at this stage we'll have the full scene built and ready to go, and we'll get started on some painting on these models. So I look forward to seeing you all then. Let's go find someone we can raid. We shall raid.
No worries, guys.
Big Jack-O Little Minis. I feel like Jack-O is the dude from Brisbane. Let's go raid Jack-O.
I have to paint miniatures all the time. This is quite fun. It's basically like a, what would you call it?
See you
It's like a
soon,
fake
friends.
Stained glass window kind of deal. Art. Don't know. But yeah, these bits were hollow, and then I used like UV resin to kind of like stain it on the inside. And then I used this nut. And I was raiding with a party of 26. What the fuck? Dano, we're not prepared. We're just chatting. Dano, mate. Appreciated. Thanks so much. Whoa. Whoa, is my stream to your liking, brother? We're not. I don't know if we're. I'm not sure if we're in 1080p. I think we are. Deno has this thing where he will just comment on your stream and be like, "Nah, sucks. 1080p. What are you doing?" We're even 30 FPS. I'm sorry, Deno. We've been having some internet issues, my brother. Don't judge me.
The
Paint some
legend of the
fucking models.
1080p has